see if this.
Good to get the chat up again.
All right, I think we're live. We're good to go. If you guys want to pull up your
Live and kicking.
pull up the live and see if it's legit. It looks legit on my end. Jay's name is correct this time. He didn't tell me that it was wrong last time. I had it at J Swift 125, and it was J Swift 203. So for all of you guys watching this video, do not follow at J Swift 125. That could be a porn star. You want to follow J Swift 203. I repeat, 203. Yo, I googled J Swift one time just to see like if there was other J Swifts in the world. Big fucking mistake. Don't ever do it.
Oh, we're live, man.
Oh no, we're live.
What's up this week, guys?
You know what the story today is?
Yeah, we got hip hop today, man. We on our hip hop tip.
Yes, sir.
So before on the last episode we talked about the history of hip hop. I think there's plenty of documentaries out there explaining the history of hip hop itself. I want to talk about our history of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, you know, our first memory of hip hop, where we got our taste that we got today for hip hop, because you know we all love hip hop over here. And, you know, you didn't just hear it out of nowhere. Like, I don't know if you can remember the time and place where you first heard it and like all that, but like, you know, I do personally. But I do want us to share our first memory of hip hop. So
Who
I
wants
guess
to kick that off?
start with Truby. He's in the top left. He's the
All right. Well, my tale's different than everybody else's, I guarantee, because my in my experience growing up, like not everybody was into hip hop, and I wasn't at first either. Like I was like, what, I wasn't into it. Like what was playing at the time was maybe, like House of Pain, and like I'm trying to remember like some of the first things I heard. I'm like, what is this? I'm not into it. Like I played guitar, that was my identity. Like I listened to rock music. I was a rock guy. You saw the picture last week. Like I had the long hair. I
Yeah.
was like super super close minded, and like now in life I feel like I'm doing the work and the research, and I'm like catching up with stuff like I should have been listening to like all along, and just like connecting the dots for me, that journey, figuring out where it began, who influenced what, where it is today, things like that. That's what I find like super exciting. And what speaks to me about hip hop is the storytelling, you know? It's real, and it's one of those things where it's take it or leave it. You like it, you don't like it. People say the same thing about stuff like country, right? That's a whole another different flavor thing, but that's also about storytelling, just in a whole different way. So I don't know. I'm trying not to be biased about any kind of music, truly, and uh, just take this journey and learn as much as I can. I don't know.
Yeah,
Swift, what do you got?
for sure.
I basically learned through my older cousins. They used to listen to they used to break dance and listen to the old school Africa Bambaataa, all the oldies, Grandmaster Flash. So just growing up around that, I got into the music, and then over the years it just turned into listening to other rappers and DJs. So yeah, watching the movies. That's how I got into it.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. Because how I got into it, I wasn't big on rap when I was young. To be honest with you, I was more into like pop, Michael Jackson, shit like that. You know what I mean? So like when I first heard my very first song was No Diggity, Dr. Dre. Yeah. So that's one of
See,
my
you
all
heard
time,
you heard the collabo.
bro. That was one of my all time favorite songs. Every time I heard it, it was like, yo, mom, turn that up. Yeah, I gotta hear it. Turn that up.
Dr. Dre was
And
killing
then
that verse too.
yeah. And
Dr. Dre was
then,
killing that verse.
like Swift, it started with the movies. I watched Friday and Keep Your Head Ringing, Ice Cube.
Oh, so you heard
See,
the West Coast sound
that's all.
first.
Yeah, but
That's how
that's all later music though too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So that's when I really
We
got into it.
we're gonna get into that too. Trust me. Oh,
Well,
well,
I mean,
we're talking
I
about that.
I mean, I heard it a lot. Like I said, growing up, listen, my uncle, my dad. My dad was real big on Biggie, so it kind of just stuck.
Yeah, for sure. So me myself, when I actually told a story on Instagram a little bit, back when before DMX passed away, when he was in oh shit, we lost Truby.
That's true.
He'll be back, don't worry. Um, we I told a story on Instagram a little bit back when DMX was going through his thing when he was in the hospital. He was a vegetable state, whatever. Um, but so my mom and my dad, when I was growing up, while they were still married, they were into like classic rock, like Ozzy Osbourne and Def Leppard, shit like that. Uh, which is not a bad thing if you like music, because that's where you'll learn later on a lot of sampling and all that stuff all gets pulled from shit like that. The the more broad in your horizon is with music, the more sampling you can do from different things. You listen to different shit. That's beside the point. But when they split up and they got divorced, my mom was dating this guy Alex, and she started listening to hip hop. She started getting big into Mobb Deep. Prodigy is one of her favorite rappers of all time. She loves Prodigy. Um,
sir.
she started getting into Mobb Deep and DMX, where her biggest, she had like DMX posters on her wall and shit, like no joke. Um, but one of my boys, Alan Beeman, shout out to my man Alan. He came over to my house, and we was just kicking it, chilling, and he pulls out "Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood." Now, I didn't really listen to rap at the time. My mom listened to it. I never listened to it. It wasn't, I didn't care for music too much then. But he puts on this song. He's like, "Listen, you gotta hear this one song." And no one really listened to this song because it was at the end of the album. There was like a 2 minute prayer before the song, so no one ever really listened to the song because you got to get past the prayer to hear the song. But it was called "Ready to Meet Him." So he puts on this song, and what he was doing in the song was so crazy to me because it's something that I haven't heard in music before. It was him having a conversation with God. I'm not a religious person, I'm not big on religion, but him having this conversation with God was dope as shit to me. Um, just the concept of that, and then after that, like the rest was history. It was like, all right, now I'm gonna start listening to the rest of the stuff my mom got around. I would go around and go in the car with my mom's boyfriend, and he was always banging Slick Rick all the time. That was, like, he had the Art of Storytelling on repeat, and I always remember the one song "Street Talking" from that album. That was the one song that always stuck out to me. Him and Big Boy, and I always thought that song was like crazy fire. So like, still to this day, I still bang to that song. But yeah, man, that's my history. That's where I got hip hop, and then after that, you know, I started getting into more hip hop. Growing up, hearing the stuff that was around, the stuff that was going on. I didn't hear too much more of the old school stuff until I moved to Connecticut, and I linked up with Jay. Then Jay put me onto a lot of other guys that I didn't really listen to, or I might have heard, but never like grasped it. You know what I mean? You know how it is with movies and music. As you get older, you start to understand it more, and tastes start to change. So that's what was happening. Uh, I still like the old stuff I listen to. Like I still like the classic rock and stuff like that. Like I'm still I still listen to that music, but hip hop is definitely like that's my love. I love hip hop. That's my shit.
One of my favorite artists was LL. For some reason, he had the bars, he had the money, he was young, and he had the women. You know, so triple threat.
Yeah, he's on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores. He's the self-proclaimed GOAT, which I mean, you have to have that kind of ego when you're a rapper. You have to.
Oh yeah,
you have to think you're the best in the room, or it's not gonna work. One
of my other favorites, KRS-One.
Yeah, KRS-One's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
One thing that I love is it's not even just ciphers. When there's a bunch of dudes on one track and they're all just like they're all doing their thing on the track. That's one of my favorite things aside from diss records. Diss records is my favorite side of hip hop. I love diss records, but when you get a bunch of artists on one song and they're all like showing their talents, because to me it might not even be a me thing, it might be a realistic thing. But I think like hip hop has like the most intricate in the English language, like as far as like you have to have a mind to be able to put stuff together the way they do. I mean, they probably doing other music too, but it doesn't stand out the way it stands out to me for hip hop because I listen to more hip hop than anything else. But I mean, truly, you have a pretty broad horizon when it comes to music. Like, do you hear other music that has that kind of what they do, putting their words together and the way they flow their the way they deliver it. You see that in any other music genre, the way you can see it in hip hop.
I really don't like the tradition of rapping, literally how it started, right? Like that storytelling. Like I don't know if anybody else caught the Eddie Murphy movie Dolomite. Jay, you saw that. Yeah, yeah.
That's a remake.
Like that whole like spoken word thing and people talking not just to the beat but in and around the beat. That is totally unique here,
Yeah,
I don't
that was
anywhere else. You're right.
That was in the original Dolomite. When did that come out? The 60s or 70s, the original one with
Rudy Ray Moore.
That's before my time.
It's before all of our time. House Party was literally right before our time. And they're talking about that movie in House Party, like it was already a solidified movie. You know what I mean? Like that was already a thing then. But yeah, no, Dolomite. That's what he did. It was like Reverend Jesse Jackson and like Muhammad Ali. It's what that's just what they did. They like to rhyme when they talk.
Yeah, and like that whole tradition and like emceeing at a party, like just tying that all together and like
yeah, for sure. I was listening to like I said, I like listening to songs that have like a whole bunch of people on it and stuff. And DJ K Slay, he's one of the guys that has he just throws like 25, 50, 110 people on one song. And it's just a huge display of talent, of just crazy. Like the newest one he did was 110 people. It's called Rolling 110 Deep. And he has guys that you haven't seen in fucking I don't even know how long. You got MC Search on there. This came out like maybe a month ago. You got like MC Search is on there, Melly Mel, Ice-T. But it's got other cats on, like the newer cats too. Like it has like Benny the Butcher, like Currency, guys like that on it. It's just a mix of just different people. Big Daddy Kane's on the track. When's the last time you heard Big Daddy Kane spit a verse? You know what I mean? But it was cool to see that. It had me 110 people. It was like 45 minutes of just rapping, but it had my attention the whole time because you're waiting to see who comes next. You don't want to spoil it and look at the comments and shit. You want to see who's coming next. You want to hear their part. And I mean, if you love hip hop, that's a dope thing to witness.
Yeah, I got to take a listen to that. I think you told me about it, but I haven't gotten across to watching it yet.
Oh, if you love hip hop, you would enjoy it. It's a like it seems long as because it's like 45 minutes long. You think, oh, 45-minute song, holy shit! But like if you listen to hip hop and you don't want to like spoil who's in the song, you can watch it and be glued to it, and you won't even realize how long it is because it's just like you're seeing guys you haven't seen in forever. You're like, holy shit, he's on the song. Oh, I hope this guy's in the song, and you're waiting for that one person to pop up.
It's a whole like they actually have like a music video or
Yeah, it's a video. It's a video. All the guys that did their verses actually did like video verses for it. The only person that has a verse that is edited in, the verse itself is edited in, it's the video that's edited in because he passed away before the video came out. Fred the Godson. He had a verse on the track, and before he passed away, they didn't get the video done. So you could tell that it's a edited in video, but Fred the Godson is an elite lyricist. He's definitely a guy to listen to if you haven't listened to him before. Not many people know about him. He was one of those guys who passed away too soon. There's a lot of hip hop artists like that. That's what I want to get into, though. I want to get into rappers that don't get their flowers that you think they should. Underrated rappers, like people who you've heard on a song and you were just like, all right, this is a cool song, but you never really deep dived into this shit.
CL Smooth.
Yeah, Jay loves P Rock and CL Smooth. You can't tell him nothing.
CL Smooth fan, man.
One that Jay put me onto. Well, I knew of him. I knew of him as a rapper because of the industry shit he had out, but never listened to his deeper shit. And after listening to it's one of Jay's favorite songs too. I think he knows what I'm talking about. After hearing this song, it's like one of the most perfectly executed rap songs, and it has the perfect flow. The way he rhymes, his patterns is just ridiculous, and it's so simple but so smooth. It's G Dep. He has a song called Every Day. Now, G Dep, you probably heard in Special Delivery was his big song. Yeah, it has Diddy Hom shaking in the video and all that. But that was his big song. Special Delivery was his big song. He had another song called Make This Money. It was him and Black Rob. Black Rob, and Diddy. Rest in peace, Black Rob. But Jay showed me that song, and I was just like, damn, I didn't know he could flow like that. Like, he was, like, flowing. Like, I never heard a delivery that clean before. And the way he had his patterns rhyming was just crazy to me. But, like, who have you guys heard as a rapper? You're just like, this guy doesn't get enough credit for what he does. Because I got a lot of them.
What you got?
Comes to my mind is definitely G Dep is one of them. I think Prodigy is another one that doesn't get the flowers he deserves.
It's my boy, man.
Even after he passed, Redman. I think Redman catches a lot of shit for his comical side.
Yeah, I think so too.
But he is an elite lyricist. Black Thought. I don't think Black Thought gets the flowers he deserves.
Another one.
He's another one. Let me see. AZ. AZ's another one. AZ is another one who, he's a crazy lyricist, and he does the special ed. These guys don't get their credit that they deserve. And then they form these like super groups. You see these guys in super groups, and these super groups either take off or they don't. Like Crooklyn Dodgers was it Master Ace, Special Ed, and Buckshot, right? That's who it was, them three.
Yep.
And in the 90s, they were all big time lyricists, but those are guys that didn't get the credit they deserved. Even Master Ace was a big name.
Wasn't Chubb Rock in that one?
That was the second one. Yeah, he was in the second.
Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah,
he was in the second Crooklyn Dodgers. But like, even the Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man is the one for everybody. And that's just natural bias. Method Man is always the one. And Truby and I were talking about it the other day. People are just naturally biased. That's a thing. There's nothing you can do about that. People are naturally biased.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that West Coast, East Coast, like that really clean sound
Yeah.
on the other coast, and like just like the rawness of the origins over on this side, and the differences people usually prefer one or the other.
Yeah. You can hear a beat and say that's a West Coast beat, or you can hear a beat and say that's an East Coast beat. And
both.
Yeah,
East Coast, West Coast. I grew up listening to them both.
Oh yeah, no. If you like both of them, you like both of them. But there's some people who are just naturally biased, who are like, the West Coast beats are always going to be the ones that knock more than them, which isn't. There's nothing wrong with that. West Coast beats are crazy. But if you like the East Coast beats, you like the East Coast beats too. And there's some people on the East Coast who be like, the West Coast beats are, they're alright. They just use horns and shit. You know what I mean? Like that's just what they do. But yeah, like I was saying though, with natural bias, like the Wu-Tang Clan, everyone always leans toward Method Man. Method Man is the best in Wu-Tang to everybody. I love Method Man. I think Method Man is great. I love the Wu-Tang Clan. Method Man's not my favorite in Wu-Tang. My favorite is Ghostface. I love Ghostface.
Ghostface too.
I like Ghostface, Raekwon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Raekwon.
I like Raekwon too.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. But people will naturally say Method Man is my favorite because he is the basic favorite. It's like having a top 5 in hip hop, right? If you ask 10 people their top 5 in hip hop, just 10 generic people who their top 5 is, you're gonna get the same 3 people in their top 5. You're gonna get Biggie, you're gonna get Tupac, and you're probably gonna get Jay-Z. Those 3 are, and possibly even Nas. Those 3 to 4 guys are gonna be in everybody's top 5 that you ask, basically. And
Nas ain't in my top 5.
Not Nas is in my top 5. Jay-Z's not
my top 5.
Jay-Z's not in mine. Biggie's not in mine, and that's very controversial because Biggie not being in someone's top 5 is a very controversial thing because Biggie is Biggie. Now I want to get something across here because every time I say Biggie's not in my top 5, people automatically draw the conclusion that I don't like Biggie. If I liked Biggie, he would be in my top 5. That's not the case. Biggie is an elite lyricist. He's great. But there's just rappers I like to listen to more than Biggie. That's just the way. And the people who are in my top 5, you can't argue them as top 5 material. You can argue them to not be better than Biggie if you want to. But in my eyes, the guys in my top 5 are legitimate top 5 rappers. Like Jay said, LL Cool J. You cannot argue with LL Cool J being a top 5 rapper. He is a solidified top 5 rapper. He is one of the only rappers who raps in every generation of hip hop. One of the only ones you can that did it. From the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2001, 2000, he's one of the only guys who does it every single era. And there might be some other people out there who did it, but LL Cool J comes to my mind when you say someone rapping in every era. Maybe in the 2020s he hasn't done anything yet, but other than that, LL Cool J, he's another one. He's not in my top 5. Doesn't mean I dislike LL Cool J. No, I think LL Cool J is great.
He's in my top 5.
I think he's great too, but I wouldn't put him in my top 5 either. I think he's had a hit in every generation, but as far as like his albums being like solid,
I mean, you gotta listen to him though. You gotta listen to the albums.
You do have to listen to them.
Albums.
He had a couple albums.
Listen,
he had a couple.
But my top 5. So I got Big L, Tupac, Big Pun, Nas, and Rakim. Those are my top 5. Those 5 guys are 5 guys you cannot argue in a top 5. Any one of those guys are in anyone's top 5. You can't say, all right, that sounds crazy. Like, no, they're all legitimate top 5 rappers. But for some reason, the fact that I don't say Biggie or Jay-Z will blow people's mind. And there was a point in time in my life when I was younger when Jay-Z was in my top 5. Because I was listening to Jay-Z religiously. My mind wasn't as broadened as it is now. I understood Jay-Z more than Nas back when I was younger. Now I understand Nas more. So I'm more open to Nas than I am Jay-Z. Doesn't mean I don't listen to Jay-Z? Nah, of course I still listen to him. But he's not in my top 5 anymore. It's just changed with the times. But like, who's in your guys' top 5? Who are your top 5 favorite rappers?
And I don't even know if I know enough hip hop to make an educated decision like that.
Oh, yeah, you're still learning your like most of your
That's
stuff.
what I mean. I'm learning my ABCs, but like I told you I was like the rock guy in high school, right? Like my best friend was totally into hip hop. Like my best friend came over from England. He came over here when he was 10. He was in the school system with me, and he was into hip hop, and I literally taught him guitar. So like we kind of taught each other, you know. He was really into Rakim. Was that album the 13th letter or something or?
Yeah, 13th letter, yeah.
I used to hear that all the time. He would incessantly play that. So like
Rakim Allah.
That speaks to me for that specific reason, you know. I have some personal favorites, like you mentioned Black Thought. That man is amazing.
Black Thought's incredible. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's he's incredible.
But then I've got people who are my favorite for like their delivery, like Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5, the guy with the super baritone voice. Like nobody else talks like that guy does.
Yeah.
Like
that's
enjoy him for the sound of how he talks. You know what I mean?
That's like people loving Shock G. You know, Mr. Humpty. He has a different sound than most people do, but he's mad smooth with it. He's super smooth with it. It's not often you'll hear someone say, "Oh, I really like Shock G," but there's people out there who do.
I like the people who are different. You know what I mean? I like Del. I love Del.
The funky Homo sapiens, cool.
Yeah, Deltron 5000, all his crazy names. I love the words he chooses. You know what I mean? And how he uses them. I love that about
those are conscious rappers, and conscious rappers they're fun to listen to sometimes. Like sometimes it can be a little too much, a little too political. But you know, guys like him, Immortal Technique, Most Def, Talib Kweli, Lupe Fiasco, Common's another big one. Those are some of the best guys to listen to when you want to get a message. They have messages. It's what they do. And telling stories too. Immortal Technique has a song that's it's not for the weak-hearted, but it's called "Dance with the Devil." That's that is a crazy storyline of a song that it'll fuck with a lot of people's heads. If you never heard that song, I definitely suggest listening to it. But if you want to hear a story, that's a story. Jay, who you got? What you got in your top 5? Throw some names out there.
Rakim, KRS. I don't know, man. I'm a Prodigy fan.
You're not wrong with that.
Nas, and I don't know.
Oh, L, you said right.
LL is up there too. I got some top guys, yo. I need a top 10. You know what I mean?
See, and that's what I always believed in. Having a top 5, and having the your second 5, your 5 that you love to listen to. Like the 5 I love to listen to are people that you would like. You guys know me, so you would expect me to say it. But it's not that's not rappers that other people would expect. Like when I say Beanie Siegel, Lupe Fiasco, Joe Budden, people are like, "Whoa, what?" Like you're telling me not Jay-Z, not Biggie. No, I like listening to Beanie Siegel. I like listening to Lupe Fiasco. I like Joe Budden. Yeah, Pop's
Joe Budden
my top.
In your top 5.
I love Joe Budden. I am always gonna be a big Joe Budden advocate. Same with Kanye West. People can talk all the shit they want about Kanye West as a person. You cannot knock him as an artist ever.
Kanye is my guy.
There's
That's my guy.
there's not many people that you can make an album and you can listen to the album front to back and not skip a song. Kanye has 2 in a row, not just one, 2 in a row. At least for me, I can listen to College Dropout and Late Registration and not skip a song on either one of those albums. DMX is
Not
one of the.
Graduation.
I won't skip a song on Graduation.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. College Dropout and well, no, Graduation. Yeah, Graduation. It depends. It depends on on what's going on. But College Dropout, Late Registration, I won't skip a song on those albums. There might be times in Graduation where I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this one. But I think him and DMX are the only 2 people that they have 2 albums in a row. I can listen to them front to back and not skip a song because DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. I guess more for personal reasons. Because I grew up on DMX. I can listen to both of those albums from him and Kanye West front to back and not skip a song on either of the albums. And there's not many rappers you can say about that. My favorite of all time is Big L, and I will still skip some tracks on either Big Picture or Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. There's a song I'll skip a song or 2 here and there, but he's still my favorite rapper of all time. But these albums, I won't skip a song, and it's hard for me to say that there's any other albums that I can say that for. You know what I mean? Even with some of your favorites. How many albums can you listen to without skipping a song?
Nas' first album.
What's that? Illmatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, Illmatic's one of the ones. It's one of the ones. Reasonable Doubt from Jay-Z too. People say that's an album that they can listen to front to back and not skip a song. Me personally, Black Album's mine for Jay-Z. I cannot skip I cannot skip a song on Black Album.
The Roots, Philadelphia.
Yeah. I know maybe one for Truby, Lauryn Hill.
Oh, that one too. Lauryn Hill. That's a straight through.
Miseducation on Lauryn Hill, that one?
Yeah. Miseducation.
Yeah.
That's a straight through.
I do know that.
That's a straight through.
That's definitely one of the ones that you can listen to without skipping.
Mobb Deep, Shook Ones.
See, Infamy was my favorite album from Mobb Deep. I liked Infamy a lot. And I liked Frontlines. Hell on Earth. That was a good album too. But that means you'd have to listen to Prodigy and Havoc and be okay with not skipping a song. That's 2 guys. There's some verses from that I like Havoc, but there's some verses from Havoc I'm like, you know what? I just want to hear Prodigy right now. And I'd want to skip through Havoc. It's like listening to Wu-Tang. Enter the 36 Chambers is one of the greatest albums ever. But sometimes you're just in the mood to hear Ghostface, or you're in the mood to hear Raekwon, you're in the mood to hear Inspector Deck or Capadonna. You're in the mood for that. So you don't want to hear Old Dirty Bastard all the time. You don't want to hear RZA all the time. You know what I mean? You want to hear that specific person. So sometimes you'll skip through to hear that person. But Ray, top 5 guys. Who do you got in your top 5? Who's your peoples?
You could flip it one. You could flip 1 and 2 either way for me, as Biggie and Jay-Z. And then I have to go with. It's like Jay said, I need a top 10. But I have to go with.
Think about, man.
Now, see, this is why I want to ask you. I want to ask you guys this question though. Do you guys feel like you need to have a top 10 because you guys like so many different artists, or because you don't want people to judge you for who you would have in your top 5?
I would say I would like to do it from the years I listen to music. You know what I mean? So what artist came first? What artist came second?
That makes sense.
Like that.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
Okay. So you're saying like top 5 of the 80s, top 5 of the 90s, top 5 of
who would you listen to first? I mean, I listened to KRS-One and all of them first. You know what I mean? Rakim.
Again, for me, my 1 and 2 is gonna be Biggie and Jay-Z. You could flip flop that either way you want it. It's Biggie and Jay-Z, but
arguable top 5 guys.
Huh?
I mean, even lyricists, you could say Busta Rhymes. You know, he's
Yeah,
up there too.
yeah. No, those
Yeah, he's
are
up there.
It's a lot of dudes that's.
those are arguable top 5 guys. Jay-Z and Biggie, they're arguable top 5.
But in my top 5, I'm gonna put Lupe, Kanye, and I don't know who got that 5th slot. That's
See, now
I don't know, it's tough.
I'm glad you said this because this is something I wanted to talk about.
I can't say all those past rappers like Rakim and all because I don't listen to them like that. So they're not in my top 5. They're probably nasty, but I don't listen to them like that.
This is my thing now. Now, I'm glad you said what you said because a lot of people will be crucifying you right now, hearing, "Oh, Lupe and Kanye's in your top 5. 5 out of all the rappers in the world, those guys are in your top 5." This is the thing, man. A top 5 is a personal preference. If you want to knock something for the top 5, take that shit somewhere else. I think people care too much about other people's opinions of what they enjoy. I can never say your top 5 is trash, mine's better than yours. It's all preference. It's what you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
my favorite rapper of all time is Big L. I get a lot of crap for that because he only has 2 albums. And he died at what, 23, 24, right before he got signed to Rockefeller Records. He died too early. So people will say, "Oh, he died too early. You can't put him in the top 5. He doesn't have enough as many albums, this and that." How about Biggie? Biggie has 2 albums also. He was just on the radio. Biggie has Ready to Die and Life After Death, correct?
Yep.
Those are his 2 albums. But he is proclaimed as one of the top 3 rappers of all time. So why can't Big L, having Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous and The Big Picture? Why can't that be how is that any different than what Biggie had? Aside from Big L was a street rapper, and Biggie was a commercial rapper.
Biggie's everything on Life After Death is almost a hit.
I agree with it,
song,
but they made
fire.
They made it that way though. You got to think. Big L had who was producing his shit. Herb McGruff and Street Struck. Like, he didn't have P Diddy and Bad Boy producing his shit. Granted, P Diddy was pulling his shit from the mud, but he still by the time Big's second album came out, Diddy was pretty well established, and Biggie was established with him. They were a team thing. Big L was still in the streets, but Big L's first only 2 albums were also crazy fire. It's not like they were whack; they were great albums.
Nah,
So
Big L was fire.
So that's my argument every time someone says, "Well, how can you put Big L in your top 5 if he died too soon? Only has 2 albums." So did Biggie. How old was Biggie when he died?
20s, right?
24, 25? He was young.
24.
I'd say no more than 27. Truby's fact checking right now. Hold on.
What's his actual name? I want to say
Christopher Wallace.
Christopher Wallace.
I put Sean Wallace, and Wallace Shawn came up.
See, but that was a big difference with him and Tupac. People will say, they always had this thing with Biggie and Tupac. Nobody had the mentality Tupac had. Tupac would go into his studio and write
5 songs.
5 songs, write, record, and master 5 songs in one sitting. That shit's unheard of. He would have a whole album knocked out in 3 days. A double disc album, not even just one album. That's insane. The discipline and the mind it takes to do that. And it's not like they're whack songs. They're all good songs. If you listen to All Eyes on Me, how many songs on that album can you say are whack? How long did it take him to make that album? It didn't take him long. That was like a 3-week project. That's crazy.
Yeah, Tupac is good, man. I don't know. Me personally, I can't sit and listen through all his songs though. Like
That's the
All
thing.
Eyes on Me wasn't.
People don't like his poetry. They don't like how he raps. A lot of the times, the people who don't like Tupac, they don't like the way he raps because they're not interested in that. They like the Jay-Z's and the Big L's, and if they want to hear that kind of rapping, they'll go to Nas. Because Nas has a different delivery than Tupac does. Tupac has a very like Malcolm X-y, Martin Luther King-y way of delivering his music. He was like when he was doing his rapping, he was preaching. He wasn't just rapping. And not a lot of people like to hear that. It's not for a lot of people.
Don't get me wrong. Tupac has a lot of good songs, but I'm just saying that album specifically, like, you know.
Yeah, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I know one of my homies, his top 5 is like, Ludacris, 50 Cent, Lupe Fiasco, Currency, and Pusha T. You know what I mean? Like that. Like that's his top 5. But who are you to argue that? That's who he likes to listen to.
That's like asking your kids right now who their top 5 is.
Right.
They're gonna say Little Yachty, Little Baby.
They're gonna say a whole bunch of AOL scream names. People you have no idea who the fuck they are. What's homie's name that home chick brought up? What was his name? Ray?
Oh.
Are you talking about XX?
No. When we was walking out of work today, she brought up JPEG some shit.
JPEG Mafia.
JPEG Mafia. Never heard of this dude before in my life, but that's his name, JPEG Mafia. If I'm not mistaken,
I'm gonna listen to him later.
JPEG is a type of picture file, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I thought so. That's a different name, but you know what? I can't knock someone for their name because people got weird names. There's a battle rapper out there named New Jersey Twerk. That's the weirdest name I heard in my life. But the dude is fucking talented. But like his name is Twerk.
He's fire. Twerk is fire.
But that's
watching him, follow him. It's fire.
Not for sure. But like rappers have weird names. But like the ones that are here, like I think Truby and I were joking about the other day. It's like Lil Baby, Dub Baby. Everyone's little. No one's an adult anymore.
Yeah, MC, little DJ.
Yeah.
Everybody's a baby.
Everybody's a baby. Everybody's little. Like Wayne's still Lil Wayne. How old is Lil Wayne? my guy's in his 40s. You're not little anymore. You're just Wayne now.
Look at his face.
Big Wayne.
Yeah, you're big Wayne now.
Look at his face. He's no longer a baby.
Look at his face.
He's just a child.
Right now they got this big thing going on with I don't know if you guys know. We were talking about supergroups. I was mentioning supergroups before. One of my favorite supergroups is Slaughterhouse. They're not together anymore, but it was Joe Budden, Royce the 5'9", Crooked Eye, and Joel Ortiz. Those are 4 powerhouse lyricists. If you've never heard them before, Slaughterhouse is definitely a group to listen to.
I don't know, man. Death Row.
Death Row's a record label. That's different. This is a group. This is a group of rappers.
Nah, Death Row was a group too. When they came out with Snoop, Dre, who else they have?
Man, it was a record label, but it
was a group too.
It was a record label.
They got a CD out.
They
got a record out.
It's like saying so Rockefeller, right? Rockefeller, you had Jay-Z, Kanye West, Freeway, Beanie Siegel, Young Guns, Memphis Bleak. You had all those guys, but the Young Guns, all them guys, they were state property. That's what they identified themselves as, state property. Although it was under the umbrella of Rockefeller, it was state property. It's the same thing with Death Row. Death Row was just a record label. I don't think that they were a music group. Like Slaughterhouse was a music group. Wu-Tang is a music group. On top of being a record label.
What about West Side Connection?
West Side Connection is a music group, and that's also a powerhouse music group. That's Ice Cube, Mac 10, and Dub C. But so what's going on right now with hip hop? It's not something that. So like I said before, diss records is my favorite form of rap. I love hearing people, in combat going at each other. That's one of my favorite things to listen to. Especially because Big L is my favorite. That's his style. Big L is that aggressive. This is made for everybody. Fuck you record. That's what Big L does. So diss records is like that's my thing. Right now what they got is Royce the 5'9" and Lupe Fiasco are going at it, and they're going at it hard right now. They're talking about, well, Royce the 5'9" is like, let's bring this to Smack DVD. I want to go on stage and I want to do this. And Lupe Fiasco's like, no, I don't do that. Like, we're not going on a stage and rapping. If you want to do this on a record and get fucked up, we can do that. So now they're going back and forth and dissing each other. And they have all these guys that are like, if you know that side of rap with where Royce the 5'9", Lupe Fiasco are, they're bringing in guys like Daylight, Loaded Lux, Murder Mook, Mickey Fax, Joe Budden, all these guys. It's like Black Thought. It's all like the meeting of the minds. It's all guys that are like God pen lyricists. Like they have godly pens. If you don't know what a godly pen is, it's just they write out of this world, unearthly shit that people cannot comprehend. That's how these guys write. But Lupe Fiasco and Royce the 5'9" just recently started having a beef, which for the first time in like diss record history for me, I'm not a fan of it because of how they're going about it. This is like me and Jay saying, you know what, fuck this, we're gonna start dissing each other. Like we can settle this over a telephone call. I can call Jay, be like, yo, why are you being an asshole? You can say, fuck you, you're being an asshole. We can squash it at that. We don't have to go out and I don't have to go out and he doesn't have to go diss my kids. I don't gotta go out there and talk about his moms and shit like that on wax. That doesn't have to be a thing. But that's what's happening right now. So it's kind of weird to me. When you see two friends going at each other the way they're doing it, it's just weird.
That's why I feel like that's why they're going about it the way they're going at, because they're friends. You know what I mean? They just don't know how to. Two people with egos that don't know how to, just sit down and talk shit out.
See, now that's my thing though. With Slaughterhouse, when they broke up, everyone had a problem with Joe Budden, right? Because Joe Budden's an honest dude. He's very honest. He's one of the most honest people you'll ever see. I didn't see Royce going out of pocket with Joe Budden. Joe Budden also wasn't dissing them first. I think Lupe said something about Royce first, but that's another level. No one wants to step into a booth against Joe Budden. That's just suicide. But regardless, Royce the 5'9" and Lupe are doing this the wrong way, in my opinion. I don't see why they are going at each other the way they are on wax, using personal information. At least that's what Lupe did. When Royce did his diss record, it was more like this is my lyrical ability, this is what I can do. And then when Lupe did it, it was like a diss record, like, fuck you. This is what I think of you. Instead of like showcasing lyricism the way they should have. I just think it's weird. It's like Jay might remember this. You remember back when in that time when Havoc and Prodigy had their problems together, and I don't think Havoc dissed Prodigy or Prodigy dissed Havoc.
I don't really remember, but
I know it was like very short lived. It was like I can't remember the diss record because I didn't care. I didn't care for it.
Yep.
But it was whack. That's something that was like, why are you dissing your boy when you can just call him and talk to him? Like you guys can talk this out. If you guys decide later you want to step in the ring and you want to do whatever, all right, cool. But I don't know. I just think it's weird. It's a weird thing to do. It's not like you guys have like beef. You guys aren't gonna fight each other when you see each other. I don't know.
It'd be like that, man. That's how music is a way to express yourself, and that's how they're expressing themselves.
Yeah, and like we said in the beginning, rap is competitive. It's a competitive nature. That's why when you hear the 50 guys in the song, they're all trying to out rap each other. You know what I mean? Like that's what they do.
They say that this now is for the beef is fake. You know
what happened?
They say the beef is fake sometimes though too.
A lot of it is, but that's the thing with guys like this. These are older school guys. It's not like I don't even know who to compare it to. Like, who can you compare it to nowadays that has fake beef? Because like no one pays attention to that shit. But these are two genuine guys. Lupe is not to come out of nowhere and diss somebody, and Royce isn't gonna do that either. Royce is a old school, street cat. He's not just to come and diss somebody just to diss somebody. It's not the same.
I'm sorry. I have a diss track related question for you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of new to this, obviously, and in my research I read that Ether is supposedly the greatest diss track of all time. Right?
Controversy,
right?
Controversy. Let's talk about that.
I don't know. I wanted to get your opinions and see what you guys thought. Like,
all right,
what do you think is maybe the greatest versus what your favorite is? You know.
All right, so let's break this down. Jay, do you think Ether is the greatest diss record of all time?
Just the track.
The track was fire, but I don't think it was the best diss of all time.
All right.
What would you say?
Hold on. Let me get into this. Hold on a second. I already know what Ray's gonna say. Ray.
Of course, you're gonna say
no.
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 All right. So
no.
This is the thing, right? This is the thing with Ether. When it came out at the time, Ether was a fucking haymaker. That shit was super hard and it was impactful. If you go back and listen to it now, as a conscious adult, it's very preschool. Very, very preschool. He's just saying shit like, you get no pussy, you have dick sucking lips. Like, he's just saying like playground shit, like shit you would just like shit Jay would say to us at work. You know what I mean? But when we make fun of each other at work, that's what he's doing. It's not a diss record.
Yeah.
My favorite diss record, it's hard to say my favorite, but one that comes to mind definitely is the "Bitch and You" by Common. When he dissed West Side Connection. Because you don't hear Common rap like that ever. Common's a conscious rapper. He's a happy rapper. He doesn't disrespect people often, but and Ice Cube is known with No Vaseline as being one of the greatest diss records of all time. And No Vaseline was fucking harsh. That's got to be up there. That's got to be top 5 diss records ever.
That
song's
fire.
No Vaseline was
No
Vaseline was harsh. That was super harsh. And the fact that Common went up against that, knowing that Ice Cube has that potential, Common did not give a fuck. And Common showed him, I can out rap you. Like we can do the fighting thing, but you don't stand a chance on the microphone with me. I respect that. Personally, my personal favorite might be Joe Budden making a murderer going at Drake. That was just perfection to me. Everything he says, some of his punchlines in that that you wouldn't really understand unless you really broke it down.
I'll tell you though, Tupac hit him up.
Hit him up's up there too. Hit him up was harsh. It was harsh. But now Hit him up is the same thing. At the time,
fire.
Hit him up was it was a haymaker at the time. If you listen to it now, it's almost the same as Ether was. It's kind of childish. It's kind of like it's childish with swearing. It's the same shit to me. It's the same. Like, it still has impact, and it aged better than Ether did to me. Ether didn't age well to me, whereas Super Ugly and Takeover aged better to me. Do I think that Jay-Z won against Nas? Probably not, because at the time, Ether was what did it. But as an overall career, Jay-Z did better than Nas did. I know Ray's laughing right now because he's a big Jay-Z fan. You can't tell Ray nothing about Jay-Z. But
it ain't even about listen, it ain't even about being biased or nothing like that. If you listen to what they're both saying,
Jay-Z got hit him up as like the top
No, it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Before I break off on that, Jay-Z, what he was saying was more relevant and more impactful. You know what I mean? Like, no, it didn't seem like fake, whack, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Where Nas is just looking at a dude's lips enough to call it dick sucking lips. Like,
I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, at that point in time, in that time and era, I'm not talking about now. In that time and era, Ether hit harder than both of Jay-Z's diss records. That's what happened at that point in time. If you was living that time, you remember that time, Ether was the one. It
was the big clap.
But
it was the big one. But
the takeover was better.
I agree. I think Takeover and Super Ugly were both better than Ether as of right now. But in that point in time, you couldn't say Ether wasn't the best diss track of that group, because it was. But I'm talking about as it ages, aging wise, I don't think it aged as well as the other ones did. It's not. It's too preschool. But that's what.
The Bridge is Over.
The Bridge is Over is another one, but that's classic hip hop though. A lot of people couldn't.
It was a battle.
I know.
It was a diss track.
A lot of people will listen to that now and be like, because of the way the rapping was. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound so much like a diss track as it sounds like a party track. You know what I mean? It's like Party Up by DMX. Like, that sounds like a party track. He's dissing someone the entire track, but it's a party track. Go ahead.
My thing on the Hit 'Em Up, Tupac verses with fire. I feel like Tupac was speaking truth from his perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The part where he had what's his name on the track? What's his name? I can't remember dude's name on Hit 'Em Up. What was the dude's name on the track? He had like the second verse.
The dude from the Outlaws.
Yeah.
It was dude from. I remember.
He had no business on the track.
No, definitely not.
Line was garbage. His line was garbage.
But this is my thing though with that song. All Tupac was saying in that song was, "I'm gonna shoot you when I fuck your bitch." What else was he saying? What else was he saying besides I'm gonna shoot you, and I fuck your bitch? It's the same shit Nas was doing. But I'll talk about.
It says actually that's why I fucked your bitch.
Him and Nas wasn't really talking about the same thing. I feel like
I'm not saying they were talking about the same thing. I'm talking about
you gotta it's real. It was real beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was real shit. Like, Tupac was what shot up and stuff like that. He thought it was Biggie's doing. He thought him and Diddy had a part in the whole thing.
They thought he set it up at the studio. Yeah, all that.
Right.
See, this is what I'm saying though. If you're thinking about it logically in chronological order, I guess Hit 'Em Up came out first, and Biggie clapped back with Who Shot You. Now, Who Shot You wasn't written about Tupac, but he made it towards Tupac after that song came out. I think and I'm a Tupac guy. I like Tupac more than Biggie. I think Who Shot You was better than Hit 'Em Up. Personally, I would rather listen to Who Shot You. The lyrical ability in that song is way better than Hit 'Em Up was. That's what I mean by by guys like Common. Common was saying in his song, it wasn't I'm gonna kick your ass or I'm gonna fuck your bitch. It was, I can rap better than you, and I can dish you at the same time. Joe Budden did the same thing to Drake. He showed Drake, like, there's levels to rapping. You can't fucking rap. You do what you do on your songs, you cannot rap. When he said that shit, why are Joe reimbursing you? No one thinks about that. What that means. Why are your jaw reimbursing you? Why are money reimbursing? That's crazy. No one thinks about that. But he throws that in so subtle. And that's a line like he had to sit down and think about that and put that pen to paper. And people don't think about that. Because they're too busy thinking about dick sucking licks and I fucked your bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
so you
even
fat
though
motherfucker.
Joe Budden got that, he got that clearly, but where Drake's stature is, like that song didn't even affect him.
No, definitely not. And that's the thing. Drake will go after the rappers that don't matter. Eminem does the same thing. Eminem will not rap with an elite lyricist. He will go after Nick Cannon. He will go after Mariah Carey. He'll go after Machine Gun Kelly. But he won't go after Joe Budden. He won't go after the heavy hitters who diss him. When G Unit had that beef with Jadakiss and them, I didn't hear Eminem getting on a track dissing Jadakiss and Styles P and them. He knows what would have happened. You know what I mean? And
yeah, but 50 don't need no help.
50 needed help against Joe Budden. 50 needed help against Joe Budden. When Joe Budden and Game were
50,
going,
50 smoked everybody, man. Stop playing.
Listen, when Joe Budden and Game were when Joe Budden and Game were dissing each other. See, you don't like Joe Budden, so it's gonna be a wash to you. When Joe Budden and Game were dissing each other, right? The whole G Unit went at Joe Budden. Joe Budden did it by himself. And he smoked the whole G Unit. All of them. It wasn't just Game. He went after the entire G Unit. And they couldn't handle a lyricist like Joe Budden. They can't. 50 Cent is not a lyricist. He's not a lyricist. He says cool shit. He's not a lyricist. You can tell me that 50 Cent's a lyricist?
When it comes to the beef, I don't think 50 Cent lost any of his diss.
But 50 Cent
except for Rick Ross. Rick Ross shut him down to me.
I didn't pay attention to that
one. 50 stopped rapping when Rick Ross came out with like 100 fucking songs dissing him.
I didn't pay attention to that one, honestly.
I thought Rick Ross didn't diss him. I remember watching an interview and Rick Ross was like, "I'm not worried about that."
Yeah, they was beefing for a while. But Rick Ross, I don't know, like shut down 50 to me.
See, Rick Ross just now started growing on me. I was never a Rick Ross guy. You know this, Jay.
Rick Ross is a beast.
I was never a Rick Ross guy. I'm just starting now to appreciate some of his shit.
Yeah.
His beats is fire. His music, everything. Rick Ross is he's nothing to mess with, man.
When I heard that song from Godfather of Harlem with him, Swiss Beats, and DMX, that's what got me thinking. All right, so he can flow. He got some shit. Then I heard that. Then I heard the track. I'm on.
You're sleeping, man. Rick Ross got heat.
And now
Rick Ross is the boss.
But that's the thing. You gotta remember when Rick Ross came out.
Lemon pepper wings.
When Rick Ross came out, I was listening to a different side of rap. I was listening to Lupe Fiasco, Joe Budden. You know, I was listening to those guys. I wasn't really on my Rick Ross shit. But I heard that track. The track I'm on with him. It's like 9 or 10 guys on the track, and Rick Ross's verse was fire on that. Everybody got out-rapped by Fabulous, but Rick Ross was still fire.
Yeah, Rick Ross came in at a time where there was a lot of good rappers going. You know what I mean? You know, Kanye.
That's what I mean, though. At that time,
so people, it took Rick Ross a little bit to get up there. But if you sat back and listened to his songs, man, that man was just escalating. He didn't stop.
And you know what? I was biased against Rick Ross for a long time because I knew the story of Rick Ross, like the real Rick Ross, Freeway Ricky Ross. So I was like, oh, who's this guy taking his name? Like, that's just mad corny. So I didn't care to listen to him. But then I started to listen to him. Like, he's actually a good rapper. I do like Rick Ross now. He grew on me. T.I. is another one. I couldn't stand T.I. for a long fucking time, but he's growing on me now. And I think what that is you have to have a more broadened horizon now when it comes to hip hop because of what dumb shit they have out nowadays. So now you're starting to go back and discover the shit you didn't listen to. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't big on T.I. I wasn't big on Rick Ross. I wasn't even that big on 50. His general shit I listened to, but like I was bigger into other shit then. But I'm starting to appreciate their shit more now because now all they got is bullshit out now. So I appreciate the older shit now. But it's good for me because now I have what's not new, but new for me. But yeah, I like Rick Ross and T.I. now. I mean, before I didn't. I mean, do you guys have rappers that you didn't listen to before that grew on you? Was that ever a thing for any of y'all? Like, think of back when you were like high school, like as a rapper you just would not listen to, but then you hear him like now and you're like, you know what? He's actually pretty cool. Do you guys have anybody like that?
I always had a hard time with Busta Rhymes back in the day. He just had such a harsh delivery, but I can appreciate him more now.
A lot of people like that with Busta because of how fast he raps and
yeah, he's just so aggressive.
His delivery is different. It's super different. Like what's that one song he has? A hardcore like Quick Draw McGraw. Like that shit is mad like slow, but it's like a hardcore like Quick Draw McGraw. It's like mad slow, but it's like woo-ha. Woo-ha's another one. Yeah, it's just like he's just making noise. That's what he's doing. Busta Rhymes is making noise and rapping fast. Like, that's what he does.
Nah, but he's got bars.
No, for sure.
Busta got bars.
Absolutely.
It's not like Twister where you can't fucking understand him. You know what I mean? Like Twister, you gotta hear like you gotta hear.
I don't know what Twister be saying, man.
He's the fastest rapper.
The Micro Machine Man.
It's like him and Bone Thugs in Harmony. There's a couple guys in Bone Thugs that are like super duper fast. You know what I mean? Jen said Twister just makes noise.
Pretty much.
So I was telling Jen about this earlier in the Rolling 50 Deep, the song they have. Twister's in that, and someone put in the comments, it was like when Twister said he just put a whole bunch of letters in there. He said, "I really felt that." I just thought it was funny as hell. You don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You can't hear what he's saying. The slowest he ever was in what, Slow Jams, like with him and Kanye West. And people listen to that song because of Kanye West. At that time, Kanye was on top of the world. That there was no such thing as a whack Kanye verse at that point in time ever. This man was this man was on a song. It was a song called Classic. It was Kanye West, Nas, Rakim, and KRS-One, and Kanye West stood with them. Now, if guys like Jay who know KRS-One, Nas, and Rakim are three of the best rappers in the entire universe, to say that Kanye West was on the same track as them and was just as good as them speaks volumes. Volumes. I think at that point in time, in what was it, 05, 06, whoever it was, when I said it was like 05, like 05 when Kanye was like really, really on top of shit. He was the king of rap. Nobody could tell me otherwise at the time. I loved Kanye West. I still do, but that's the thing with me, with anything, and not even just rap. I can separate the man from the monster. People will dislike someone because of who they are, their personality, what they did in their life. R. Kelly's a shitty human being. He's not the greatest person in the world. His music is still fucking good. Crucify me. That's fine. But the man can still sing. You know what I mean? Regardless of his personal shit. Yes, he does fucked up shit. Bill
Some of his
Cosby.
music was I couldn't, bro.
I like R. Kelly's music. Bill Cosby's the same thing. Bill Cosby, you know, he's right now he's frowned upon. But can you say that Bill Cosby himself is not one of the best stand-ups you ever watch? I'm saying. Michael Jackson, same thing. People degrade Michael Jackson for all the shit that went on in his personal life, inviting kids to his ranch, all this and that. All right, that's you know, it's shitty that's a thing, but does that change what he was for music? Is his music bad? Is he a bad singer, bad dancer, bad? Is he bad because of no pun intended, because of what he did in his personal life?
Nobody can say. You can say anything you want about Michael Jackson. That man is legendary, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. So you guys, J and J, can you guys separate the man from the monster when it comes to a person and their talent?
See, I had this discussion with my wife recently, right? Because Michael Jackson is such like a towering figure of my youth and childhood, right? That the things they said about him, like, I didn't want to believe him. I still don't want to believe him. And it's
right.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of people's reaction is to not believe survivors in particular of stuff like that, and
right.
I think that's a really big hot button issue. I have a hard time. I feel guilty about liking somebody's art if I know they've done something super wrong. Like morally, that's a gray area for me. I don't know why that is. That's a personal thing, but
see, but that's majority of people in general. See, me,
yeah,
I can listen to Michael Jackson. I can listen to R. Kelly. I can enjoy Bill Cosby's comedy. I can watch Tech Nine's battle raps and not feel bad because I'm not supporting them as the person. You know what I mean? I'm not supporting.
right.
I'm not supporting R. Kelly as the dude who pisses on little girls. I'm listening to a song.
But it can be argued that by supporting their art, you're supporting them. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel weird about that. But like,
right? But I'm also not buying their albums. I'm not like
right.
I'm not purchasing this. I'm not putting money into that bank account.
Right.
I will listen to the song on YouTube. And, you know, maybe they get money for that. Maybe they don't. I know
they get money.
YouTube.
They get money for streams. They get money for streams.
It depends on their contract. Some of the older guys don't. And Michael Jackson's dead. He ain't getting shit now. You know what I mean? That's all going to his kids. But
or Joe.
Or I mean, yeah, or Joe. Regardless, Kobe was another one. You know, people always talk down on Kobe because of what he did in his personal life or what they said he did in his personal life. Does that change that he is top 5 greatest basketball players of all time? No, he still fucking plays basketball better than anybody, almost anybody you can think of. Regardless of what he did in his personal life, whether it was right or wrong. You know what I mean? Like that's just that's a thing. I don't know. I'm personally able to separate the man from the monster, regardless who it is. And you know, I guess that is frowned upon with a lot of people actually. But like that's the thing though. It's not like I went into it like, you know what? I know that R. Kelly pees on girls. I'm gonna try to listen to his music right now. Like, no, I was already listening to it. You know what I mean? Like I already heard the songs. You know what I mean? Like those songs, like Space Jam came out before anyone knew he was peeing on little kids. Space Jam was already out. I Believe I Can Fly was already a thing. You know what I mean? And you know, that's a movie from my childhood. So I gravitated towards R. Kelly's music. Later on, you find out he's doing this weird shit, and you're like, all right, well, what the fuck? But does that mean you don't like the song now because you now know this about him?
I don't know. Do you like?
No,
I
they're
believe
still
I can
gonna
find
step in the
anyone?
name of love. They're still gonna step in the name of love.
Facts.
I don't know. And maybe I'm the only one here out of the four of us who thinks that way. I wouldn't be mad if you guys thought otherwise. If you guys thought I can't listen to R. Kelly because of what he did, I respect that. You know what I mean?
Listen who you want to listen to, man. Listen, at the end
I
of
get
the
what you're
day,
saying too. Like Louis C.K. isn't any less funny now, right?
Right. And Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's another one.
Right.
Well, people
you can't unlearn the jokes you learned from these people.
Right. Kevin Spacey is canceled everywhere now.
Right.
Is The Usual Suspects a bad movie?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Chocolate cake for breakfast is still funny, you know? Like
right. That's still a thing. And this, like I said, you learn this stuff after. It's not like my son, just now this is out in the open. If my son were to say, you know what, I want to start listening to R. Kelly. All right. I mean, you know what he did, but you want to start listening to him now? It's a little different now. But this is stuff you already been on. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, we're at an hour and 15 minutes now. So, you guys want to talk about next week's episode before we sign off?
Oh, next week we're gonna try our own internal diss, I guess. What would you call it?
Turning it
We're gonna
into the roast room.
right? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
roast room.
Roasting session.
Roast room.
So
Yeah.
I want anybody I want anybody who is out there who is watching, if you want to be a part of this, right? What we're gonna do is the four of us are gonna get 5 pictures of ourselves throughout our lives, whatever point in our lives we want it to be. We're gonna put it on the screen. We're all gonna take turns just roasting the picture. We're just gonna tear the picture apart.
And the people could roast along with us.
And people who want to get up in the comment section, if you want to get in the comment section and tear us up, tear us the fuck up. But
give them that email too.
Email. You guys see my name in the corner, Skazooter. Skazooter@gmail.com. If you want to put your picture in here and be a part of this, email a picture of yourself to us. You on that email, skazooter@gmail.com, and we'll make you a part of it. We want to get you guys involved. You can be part of the roasting. You can roast us, roast the other pictures. We want to have fun with this. So
send for your birthday too. If you want to get roasted on your birthday, send us your picture. We'll roast you on your birthday.
or we'll find you. But no, we like to make fun of each other, make fun of other people. Like, it's just what we do. We're fucked up human beings. So we want to have fun with the next one. So like I said, we're gonna do 5 pictures of us throughout our lives. I'm pretty sure I already have my 5 from myself, and they are god awful. We're gonna tear me the fuck up. But yeah, skazooter@gmail.com. Send us some pictures, and let's get this roasting on, man. I'm trying to have some fun. But that's us signing off for today. Until next week, let's talk about it.
Peace out.